We're calling this segment of the John Gibson Show a media bias palooza because we have assembled examples from just the last few days of the persistent media bias we always talk about, and Democrats will call me at 888-788-9910 and say, no, it doesn't exist. Or say, John, you're a conservative. You're a Republican. No, I'm a registered independent, but I think a conservative idea ought to be heard once in a while. And there are times I think if I don't say it, you won't hear it. I go to Texas and I have real conservatives yelling at me. What's going on with Fox? It's gotten so liberal. Can you have Geraldo put a cork in it? No, I cannot. But let me just walk down this row of examples of media bias. And the one that ought to tip you off every time you hear it is when you hear a liberal on the media say, I'm a regular guy. And you're a regular guy or gal. We're both just regular guys and gals. And what we want is what everybody wants.
The force for change that's out there, if you talk to people, if you talk to regular people, people like me, people like you, the idea of they want to change is a very, very powerful force.
Shut up.
I keep forgetting, Angry Rich, what is your beef with him?
It's Mike Barnacle.
Yeah, I know that is.
He pretends to be a man of the people. He grew up in Southie.
In Boston.
In reality, he's a Metro West Boston, a feet Chardonnay-sipping plagiarist phony.
Uh-huh. Well,
he's in the perfect place on MSNBC.
Without getting into the details, there's that trick. NBC has dropped any pretense of being an objective, unbiased news source anymore.
Resign.
Prime time.
They're putting him in prime time.
No, but they're putting him on the network.
Yeah, on the network. Exactly. They're going to stick him on the mother network.
Resign.
But his competitor over there, Bathtub Boy's competitor at MSNBC is Monkey Man. Who actually did that on his own show, and he's playing catch-up in the wildly left-wing partisan game.
Our second story tonight is the White House going to pull a Lucy again with the football trick all over again. For months, President Bush has been asking us to wait for a report from General Petraeus. How many times do we hear that phrase? Now we learned that the White House is going to write the report, the White House, and that the general will testify publicly before Congress only after the report's been written by Bush's people. Is this a sign of something we've seen before? Is the Bush administration going to politicize that critical September report instead of letting the general deliver a full and honest assessment to the American people? It looks like it.
You moron! Petraeus is Bush's people. He's the one Bush picked.
Before the fiddler has played, before they ask us to pay the bill, and while we still have a chance.
That's 4 fingers of scotch there.
Twice. I'll have a third. Make it a 4-stack.
Light them up.
But that wasn't even the top of the hit parade for him. This one about the vice president pretty much takes the cake, Dick.
In 1994, Dick Cheney, of all people, said going into Baghdad would be a bad idea.
Once you got to Iraq and took it over and took down Saddam Hussein's government, then what are you going to put in its place?
Good question, Dick. Anyway, that was Cheney, by the way, back when he knew what was going on.
Good
and the question now is, that guy has led this president into doing exactly what he said would be a bad idea.
Good question, Dick.
Good question, Dick.
Good question, Dick.
Good question, Dick.
I'm offended.
Jesus. Is anybody at NBC listening?
Good question, Dick.
John Gibson of Fixed News, today's worst person in the world.
Always striving to be the worst to Bathtub Boy.
You should crawl off into a hole and die.
But the best to you. John Gibson on Fox News Talk.